Hello, hello, wherever you are in the world. My name is Rhijn. I'm a business success strategist at Success on Your Own Terms, where I help you create a life and a business that work hand in hand. I'm also the founder of the Woman Who Makes Things Happen show. And today it's my pleasure to be interviewing Dion Johnson. Dion is an executive coach, an international speaker, a published author, a former midwife. She helps leaders, especially midlife women, to keep evolving as women and change makers. John was born with a facial disfigurement and for 40 years hid her facial flaws behind an artificial eye and dark glasses. She powerfully inspires audiences to explore their own authenticity by sharing what she has learned through her very real transition from masked to unmasked. Welcome to the Woman Who Makes Things Happen show, Dion. How are you?
I'm really delighted to be here with you today, Anne, yes.
I'm delighted to have
Dion.
you. Dion, sorry for that. Usually I ask how to pronounce a first name because I'm very sensitive as to how my first name is pronounced, and I forgot today. Sorry for that. So Dion.
Yes.
Okay. And good for you that you immediately said it. So that will avoid me having... continuing, sorry to say it wrong. So tell us more about you.
So maybe 10 years ago, I might not have corrected you when you said my name wrong.
Good point.
Maybe I would have just allowed you to carry on calling me that name. And that's really poignant to the journey that I've been on. Or an amazing journey of self-discovery and courage and commitment to show up in the world, in every single relationship, in every single interaction that I have as the real me. And I'm just on this mission. I'm so excited about it because I'm on this mission to help other women to do the same, to take up space and to be the real them and to show up for real. Let us see who you are. Let us hear what you've got to say, and let us feel the essence of the real you. And that I'm passionate about that.
You really show your passion. That's for sure. You're a living example of passion. So give us more story around the background and how you came to be so passionate and want.
You know what? I think I always like to say that I was born to share this message because I was actually born with the facial disfigurement. I was born with a very pronounced asymmetry of my face. I had what's called a hair lip, so this part of my face hadn't formed properly, and I was blind in my left eye. So as the years went on, my eye became more and more disfigured because it was an unused organ, and I had lots of corrective surgery on my face. And so my appearance had always been a bit of an issue in my growing up. You know, when I was 4 years old, I was gifted with, and I say gifted because it really was a big deal back then. I remember being gifted this artificial eye, which was this plastic shell that fit over my disfigured eye that was painted to look like an ordinary eye. And a pair of dark glasses a bit later on. So that was what I call the beginning of my life behind the mask. You know, it was a gift to help me blend in, a gift to help me look more normal, and a gift to help me hide my facial flaws. And it's really strange because I don't think any of us back then, you know, many years ago that was now, could have looked forward and seen what a powerful metaphor that would be in my life. So I don't think anyone could have known that was going to be teaching me the lessons that what you do when something doesn't look normal, or what you do when something is flawed or broken or not the same as everybody else's, that you put it away, you suppress it, you hide it. You hide your differences, you hide your flaws, you conceal it. And that was I didn't know I was learning that lesson, but I came to understand 40 years later, when I was in my early 40s, I had this week that I used to call the week from hell. And because it felt so dreadful, this 1 week where several instances that seemed like separate incidences or hurt. So let me tell you the first one. My aunt died. And in that week that my aunt died, I was traveling up and down to Bristol, where I come from, my family home. And on one of the wakes, one of the evenings where everybody came to gather, there was an old friend of mine, Jay. And Jay and I had not seen each other for many years. And so we were talking away, and she by now had a 10-year-old son that I'd never met. I hadn't seen her for all that time. And this boy was getting in the way of our conversation. So Jay got a bit irritable with her son and said, what's the matter with you, boy? Why are you, keep still. And he blurted out, Mum, your friend's ugly. And when he said it, it was like, bam, like someone winded me. It really hurt.
Can imagine.
But you know what, Agnes? I noticed that even though I was really hurting in the inside, for the first time I kind of caught a glimpse on myself as if I were a fly on the wall, and noticed how I didn't even flinch. So no one in the room could have seen what I was going through inside with the words, the power of his words. I kept my composure, and I noticed it, and I thought, that's I've not noticed that before. I've not noticed how I can do that sort of double thing where something's going on the inside but not showing on the outside. I thought, interesting. And then the very next day, and I'm not kidding when I say the very next day, I was at church in my church foyer, and some kids came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and they pointed at my face. They jeered and laughed and ran off.
That's a lot in today's time.
I was gobsmacked. And again, it was like a pow, right in my heart, right here. And I was starting to ache, I can imagine. And then several things kept happening every day that week. And then by the end of the week, I was really sore, but just carrying on as though nothing was happening. And then it was the day of my aunt's funeral. And I lost my glasses. My glasses had fallen, my dark glasses had fallen down the back of the radiator. And all of a sudden, I felt this panic rising up inside of me. Like, I don't think I can go to the funeral. I can't go to the funeral. I'm not going to go to my aunt's funeral. And my sister said, don't be stupid. Of course you're going to your aunt's funeral. You're reading the eulogy. And I, again, like a fly on the wall, I noticed how the horror, the terror that was happening because I couldn't find my mask. I couldn't find my glasses. I couldn't find the way that
you couldn't hide. You couldn't hide.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you couldn't hide.
And so I noticed it. I was in this week, although the things kept happening one after the other, I was noticing myself in it. And it was getting sorer and sorer. Of course, I went to the funeral, and I noticed the soreness throughout the day. I noticed that when people looked in my direction, I wanted to kind of do this, kind of block their stares. I felt like I wanted to say, please don't look at me. And I was noticing it. And I was also noticing that no one in the room could have looked at me and seen that was happening. I noticed how I was holding it down, styling it out. And then lots of other things happened during that time. And then by the next morning, by the time that night, I went home to my sister's house. I took my artificial eye off, put it on the dresser beside me, and I was so exhausted I fell asleep. And when I woke up the next morning, I knew something was wrong. My sister was standing at the foot of the bed, and she said to me, I said to her, what's wrong? She said, it's Brooke. That's my niece, and she was 3 years old at the time. She told me, Brooke has found your artificial eye, and it's freaked her out. She can't get her head around, what do you mean Auntie's eye is on the side?
Oh, yeah. Can imagine a 3-year-old.
She just couldn't get her head around what this was happening. And I love my Brookie J. So I went to her, and she was rolled up in a ball in the corner of her room, and she wouldn't look up, and the tears were streaming down her face, and she didn't want me to touch her. She didn't want to give me a kiss good morning. And it was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
I can imagine.
I just couldn't take it anymore. It was so sore. And I do what I do when I get into that sore place. I just ran to somewhere on my own. I got down on my knees, and I put my hands up in the air like this, and I said, God, something is really hurting, and I just need to know what to do about this pain, what's going on. And then I kind of entered into this conversation, you know, a deep down spiritual conversation. And I heard a voice say to me, Dion, tell me something. What's all this hiding and covering up about anyway?
Oh, I love it.
Why are you hiding? And when are you going to let people see the real you? When are you going to learn how to show up in this world, in your life, in your work, in your relationships, for real?
Beautiful.
Wow. I mean, I've got goosebumps.
That's power. Yeah. Well, I have them, definitely.
Yeah.
That is very powerful. Yeah, it's, wow.
I was taken away by those questions because I'd never asked them. All those 40 years that I'd been wearing the artificial eye and dark glasses, I'd never considered life without them. I'd never considered life showing up for real. And so these questions were really challenging me. And I was speaking out loud like I'm accustomed to do when I'm in that private place. And I was arguing with the voice. I was arguing and saying, what do you mean, why? Can't you see me? Of course I need to hide this. Of course it wouldn't be fair to allow people to have to look at the real me. It would be cruel. And as I heard myself saying these words out loud, I'd been on a personal development journey, a spiritual journey up until that point. So I knew that those words didn't really make any sense. No. But they were real. They were coming from the depths of my belly.
Of course.
And I saw for the first time how I'm really feeling about the real me. How I understand the real me. What I think about the real me showing up in the world. Well, I didn't know how, and I didn't know what was ahead or what I needed to do, but I knew that before I got up off that floor, I needed to make a decision that I was going to learn how to show up for real. I was going to find out who the heck I am for real and show up as her everywhere. And it seemed ludicrous while I was down there on the floor. It seemed like an impossible thing to let people see this face, to let people see me. But my God, I made the decision there. And when I got up, that was the only thing what had happened was that I got up with a decision to find a way to show up in my world for real. Now back then, I thought I was just talking about my face. It was all about covering up my facial flaws. But what I've learned since then is that I was wearing masks on many, many, many levels. And it brought a whole new insight, an increasing insight as to how we as women in particular hide and cover ourselves and suppress ourselves and depress ourselves, the bits of us that we think are not appropriate, or the things that we think are unsightly, or the things that we think they don't want. They don't want that me. They don't want that outspoken me. They don't want that opinionated me, or they don't want my views, or I'm not really, they don't want the important, like all the things that we think that are not okay. What we do, we hide them. And so, oh my gosh, I'm just on this real, I learned. So you can see me here today with, this is the real me, you know, this is.
And I'm glad you're here. Gosh, this is amazing. Oh,
so I learned how to work, I learned how to show up powerfully present with my face, but also with my personality, with my presence, you know, with my real essence. I'm still on that journey. I'm still learning, but I'm telling you, I'm getting there, and I'm bringing women with me all around the world.
It's amazing, and I love that you're making this parallel with women in general, because women may be listening to you, I think, and saying, oh yeah, but it's different for her because she had this and etc. But the reality is that we all have at a level the same type of problems, and we all are hiding. I've been in that place as well for very different reasons, obviously. But I came to the I understood. Well, it was back in January this year only, and I'm 59, so it's been quite a long time. Thank you. So what I meant to say is not for you to say that, but you know, it's been a long time before, and in fact, I've been hiding all my life. All I've been doing was being invisible, and again, for different reasons. But I embraced in January the decision, the determination that had to stop. And life has completely changed since. So I love all of that. So
I mean, what you said just then is really critical, that life changes when you decide that you're going to
absolutely.
I mean, I used to call it the week from hell, but now I call it the week from heaven, because I realized that it was the best thing that happened to me. It was painful, but what it allowed me to do was to understand that I actually am hiding myself, and that became intolerable. I'm hoping that some of the people that are watching this recognize what it's resonating with what we're saying. They're resonating. They're saying, yes, I realize that on some level I'm not showing up for real in that relationship, in that place, in that area of my life. I'm not showing up for real, and I know I need to. I know I want to.
And I think that, as you say, when we're faced with certain challenges, and you had this concentration of challenges all of a sudden in 1 week time, when we can take the time to step back and reflect on it, we end up seeing it as a gift, as opposed to, I had exactly the same experience when 18 months ago I left a toxic relationship where I lost everything, absolutely everything. And people don't understand it when I say that I'm grateful that I've had that toxic relationship, because without it, I would not be who I am today. It's.
I completely agree. You know, in fact, one of the things when I'm teaching my clients, or when I'm working and mentoring and coaching, I like to say that one of the things that we have to become intentional about is letting life lead. Life lead. And even when it's leading us into tight, dark places, following life, because I say there's a parable in the pain, you know, where we're hurting, where we're being led to, where there's disturbance, dis-ease, that's the place where our gems of insight are. That's the place where the biggest learning opportunities are, and life will lead you to that. And oftentimes we'll say, you know, we'll feel like, oh, why is this happening to me, or oh, this is terrible. Well, I think that's where the riches of life are.
Absolutely. It tells us so much about ourselves, in fact.
Yeah, but I agree.
We need to dare looking there and look inside. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
So tell us more about the work you do.
So you can hear my passion for...
No, not at all. I don't see it. I don't hear it.
I'm just fully convinced that when of a few things. I'm convinced of a few things. That when women lead, our world is a better place. I'm convinced.
Me too.
When we find our rightful place in leadership, whether it be in the home or in the marketplace, the world is a better place. But if we are in that place, but we're wearing masks, the effect of we can't take good use of the position. Because when you wear masks, you not only stop people coming in, but you stop yourself coming out.
Oh, so true.
So I'm looking at the state of our world right now, and I'm seeing a distinct lack of the woman's voice, the woman's essence in the decisions that we're making. And I realize that there are some women who are positioned in the room when decisions are being made, but they're hiding. They don't want to talk. You see, we wear masks in 3 ways. This is what I've learned since my experience. I've learned that we typically wear masks to cover our face. And if you think about face, it covers your eyes. So things that you can see clearly, you don't express them when you wear masks. You pretend you don't see them.
Yeah.
And things that you can sniff out, your hunches. I suspect, I feel women are very intuitive. But when we wear masks, we don't air those. We're not at liberty to say what we're sensing, what we're sniffing out. And our message, we have messages, we have instruction even, we have insights and ideas that we don't voice when we wear masks because our mouth is covered, we're gagged. Things that we're hearing intuitively. With masks, we don't express them. So we wear masks firstly by covering our face. We wear masks also by covering our heart, our breastplate. We wear like an armor here. That's a form of masking. And when we wear that, we cover our heart. So we have lots of women who are in decision-making places, and really logic is rife, but the heart of the decision is what the woman should be bringing, but we can't bring it because we're too covered up our hearts.
Yeah. I've been there.
We're not feeling. We're impartial. We're placid. We're thinking with our head. We're matching the boys. But the heart of the woman is concealed, is muffled because she's not, is covered up. It's masked. And the third way that we mask is we cover our ass. We don't want to get in trouble. So, that's more than our job's worth. We've got to look after number one. We want to protect ourselves. So I couldn't possibly put my head above the parapet or speak up or say no or say yes. We couldn't, we wouldn't dare go against the grain because we have to cover our ass.
It's fear ruling the game.
Exactly. And so all of these things have come together for me in my work. You see, I really think that women are powerful leaders and that they are the missing element to some of the biggest quandaries that we see in our marketplace and our world. But there's no point in us just getting more and more women there if the women that are there are masked in these 3 ways. So my work is really about unmasking modern day feminine leadership. And I choose to do that in 3 ways with executive coaching. So coaching those women who are actually there, who are actually in the room, at the table, where the decisions are and where the leadership is happening in our world. I like to come alongside those women and deal with they're carrying a heavy load. And so our work is looking at how they carry that heavy workload and thrive by becoming more of who they were born to be in that situation. And I'm excited about that work. And I see so many remarkable you know, it's so beautiful to watch a woman who realizes, like I did on my week of hell and heaven, you know, that, my God, I haven't been showing up for real. My God, I've been hiding. My God, I've not been feeling that. I've not been tapping in. I've not, you know, that's amazing, because organizations cannot stay the same. The world cannot stay the same when women find that about themselves and begin to take their position, use their position from an authentic, radically authentic
I was going to say, it's all about authenticity and alignment. Yeah. I'm fully with you. I'm fully with you.
I'm excited about the work that I'm doing with especially midlife women, because I think that midlife women, you know, we are rich. We're a rich resource.
Mm-hmm.
We've walked a while. You know, we know a lot. We don't think we know a lot, but we know a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
We've got a lot to bring. If there's one thing that the world needs right now, it's innovative, creative solutions. And innovative, creative solutions, I think, are created by unique insights, unique, valuable insights, and we are rich with insight.
Absolutely.
And so I think that it's a matter of global importance that we help midlife women leaders to take the masks off.
I love it.
Yeah. So there's the executive coaching, one-to-one work with women, and I put events on and work with women in small groups too. And then there's the international speaking. So this is part of that. This is me just sharing my message with another.
And I'm glad you do.
so there's that. And then I like to consider that I'm a global conversationalist too. So there's work around, you know, just having conversations with other people who are concerned about the state of the world and the part that women play in it, because I think that's a changing concept. Women in the marketplace is a changing thing, and we don't really understand it fully yet. And I think conversation is the way to understanding it fully and to creating a very powerful business case for equality and equity of women in the marketplace. So I'm very much involved with that conversation too.
Wow, fascinating. You really are a powerhouse. I'm so glad that you throw that mask away. Oh, wow.
And wearing fewer and fewer masks. It's an ongoing journey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously a personal development journey is a lifetime journey.
Yeah.
Most people think that it stops at somewhere. No, never stops. It's a growing process. So I'm very conscious of time, unfortunately. So where can people find you?
So everything happens at dionjohnson.com. So DION Johnson.com. I am just about to launch my new website called Woman Leader Global, but any inquiry from dionjohnson.com will get you to know exactly what I'm doing in the world. So
that's fascinating. And I read that you're involved also with some charity.
So my business has a charity arm called She Shines Global.
Oh, I love it.
So it's about, so my background is midwifery. I was a midwife and a leader in midwifery in the NHS for many years. And I'm concerned that women are still dying in childbirth around the world. 800 women a day die in childbirth from very normal childbirth, you know, just minor complications. And because of lack of facilities and lack of electricity, you know, basic things, and I want to do something about that. So I'm very interested in using part of my income and fundraising for efforts that will address that issue.
Oh, fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Dion, thank you so much for this interview. I've loved every minute of it. So for the listeners, if you too want to go through a transformation like that, if you want your life, give it a meaning and create success, but really on your own terms, so that it's no longer your business ruling you and your life, but you ruling your business. You can have a free consultation with me as well. So for that, you can go to my website, and that is agnesvanrhijn.com. So www.agnesvanrhijn.com. Rhijn. And let's see how I can help you too. Thank you so much, Dion, and see you at the other side. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Agnes.